Hello, this is Arash Vasugi with Voss Coaching Co. I wanted to first off congratulate you for investing the time and resources in really making your life so much better. This program is very dear to my heart. You know, I have been studying personal development well over 17 years now. And I was personally mentored by the dean, in my opinion, of personal development, and Bob Proctor. And I really remember the day everything changed for me was the day that I found the right direction. You know, Bob used to tell me, he said, Arash, the only thing you're missing is direction. I said, well, I don't have discipline. My results are really not good. I'm losing in a big way. He said, but that's going to change as long as you do what I tell you to do. And I got into a program similar to this and had the proper direction, and that's when everything changed. So getting in the standard is going to be, you're going to look back if you work the ideas, and when you work the ideas, because the ideas only work if you work the ideas, you put them into action, you're going to look at this as not just one of the best decisions, it's going to be a game-turning springboard to where you're going to go. So getting into the standard, we first got to understand that there are big things coming your way. Everything that has happened in your life, in my life, in everybody's life has been absolutely essential to prepare you from what you're going to do. That means all your failures, all your adversities, all your wins, all your losses, all the disappointments, everything has prepared you for something far greater. And I want you to lock in that idea. You don't have to believe me, just don't not believe me. Just stay neutral with it. When we're neutral, we're not one way or the other, we're right in the middle. When I start talking, as this program continues, about the art of neutrality and how important that is, that's where you get to the truth. Now, every day, I want you to think about it as one day I'm going to change my life or day one. You decide. And I want you to decide from this moment on, right here, at setting the standard, that you're going to make an irrevocable, committed decision that from this point on, you're not going to let anything in the past, anything outside of you, dictate your attitude. This is the key to winning. You have to make a decision from this point on that you're not going to let anything outside of you control your thinking. Now, this is always going to be about you. This is not about me. My life is about me. This is about you. And when I say you, I want you to look at this slide, how big it is. Because that's you. You are big. You are not small. I watch too many people allowing themselves to shrink based on the past. The past was based on not understanding. And when we gain understanding, understanding is the springboard to freedom. And you gain understanding through mentorship. You gain it through thinking. You gain it through studying. But we first want to understand that everything in your life has prepared you for what is going to springboard you going forward, but it's about you. Take extreme ownership. The biggest excuses people make are they're blaming somebody else. They're blaming the outside. They're procrastinating. When we take extreme ownership from our life, for our life, that's when our life really takes off. Now, I want you to lock into this because to understand you, you have to understand how you actually operates. Now, this stick figure drawing is something that was taught to me by my mentor. It was taught to him by his mentors all the way down the line. This drawing came from Dr. Thurman Fleet many years ago. He was a chiropractor in San Antonio, Texas. But I want you to watch this closely. Now, you have a conscious mind. This is literally a picture of you. You have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind, and you have a body. Now, your conscious mind is your thinking mind. It is your educated mind. Your conscious mind is your intellect. Your intellect, once activated, really creates a massive jump for you. Now, your subconscious mind is your emotional mind. So, just like I'm speaking English to you, If I was speaking another language, let's say Taiwanese, and you didn't speak a different language, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. So we want to start understanding the language of the subconscious. Now, your subconscious mind is your power source. It creates 96 to 98% of your perceptions, behaviors, and in the end, your results. Your conscious mind creates 2 to 4%. But we have to understand we can't get to the subconscious without the conscious mind. In both your conscious and subconscious mind is in every cell of your body. Now, your conscious mind, I want you to hear my words, you get to choose any idea you want. What are you choosing? Most people are not choosing, they're just reacting. And they're not thinking, so they don't activate their intellect, which we're going to get into in later lessons. Now, your conscious mind, you can accept or reject any idea. I want you to highlight this. I want you to really lock into this. This is how you create mastery over your thinking. And I'm going to tell you right now, right away, let's get this out in the open. There's 2 things we have to understand to create great wealth in our life. And that's in all areas. Number 1, if we're going to create monetary wealth, we have to understand that our rewards are in direct proportion to the contribution we give. So it's to the service. And the second one is we have to be in control of our mind. Most people are letting their mind discipline them where they're just reacting. But when we accept and reject ideas, what we're doing is we're consciously communicating to our subconscious what we're allowing. Because here the subconscious can only accept. It must accept every idea. It is impersonal. It doesn't know if you're kidding, if you had a bad day. It only accepts. That's why we go back to accepting and rejecting ideas. I want you from this point on to give yourself a command, and that's what discipline is, giving ourselves a command, and you only accept what you want, and anything that is not in harmony with how you want to live, what your goal is, I want you to give it a hard no. I do not accept that. Now, I'm putting this right away for you right from the beginning, because as you study this stick figure and start understanding it, it is going to be a game changer. I wish I would have been so aware of the power of this. I must have studied this thousands of times. But now I understand it completely. And once I started understanding it years ago, my results skyrocketed. Because now I understood how I worked, how I actually operated. Now, your conscious mind originates any idea you give it. You get to give it whatever idea. You could create an amazing image of how you want your life to look like. And that happens in the conscious mind. And we're going to talk a lot about building pictures. Now, your subconscious cannot reject. That's why we master accepting ideas. And here's a key point. When you are not rejecting ideas, you are actually accepting it. Most people are accepting ideas they don't want all day long. I want you, from this point on, to master accepting and rejecting. Accepting and rejecting. If that's the only thing that you get out of setting the standard, you're going to change your life. And then your subconscious cannot determine the difference between what is real and what's imagined. That means I can paint any picture and my subconscious thinks it's true. It doesn't know if it's not in my physical reality right now. Now, we're going to go deep into this, but that's an introduction to you. Now, your spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. It requires no modification or improvement. It is all-knowing. What does that mean, all-knowing? That is, you have access to all the knowledge in the world. There's nothing outside of you that you need to get. We have to understand to develop the inside of us because we have been gifted with all the power that we have access to in the whole world. It is all powerful. There's the power right there. It is ever present. That means it's everywhere. When you're on vacation, it doesn't just leave. You could be in another country watching this. You can be in Europe, and it is there with you. And it is the real you. See, most people reject this idea right away. You know, your spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. Now, that's a big idea. I want you to accept it right away. I told you right away to set the standard, we have to understand that it's about you. Now, are you what and who you pretend to be? Are you wearing masks? Are you really showing up at your best version of yourself every day? Are you letting doubt hold you back? You're going to know which mask you're wearing. And we're going to work on getting you to have such a great relationship with you. Now, we have one life that we know. And it's about how I want to live. How do you really want to live? I want you to ask that question. How do I really want to live? It's about contribution. How do I want to contribute? Imagine every day that you are leaving everybody better off than you found them. That's a great way to live. It's about how we spend our days. How do you want to spend your days? Do you want to be in love with the ideas from the minute you wake up? Do you want to really be in love with the work you get to do? And it's all dependent on how we see ourselves. We've got to build the picture of ourselves. That's our image. How do you see yourself right now? Listen, good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to change. As we work on these ideas, your whole perception of you is going to change. Now, you can absolutely create your own economy. And I want you to fall in love with this idea. You've got to understand, if I can create my own economy, so can you. You know, back in 2008, possibly 2009, I'm sitting in a seminar. I'm struggling fiercely. I mean, I was $150,000 in debt. I had a foreclosure sticker on my garage, but there was something inside of me dying to come out. And I go to a seminar by my eventual mentor, Bob Proctor, and he's looking. I'm sitting in the front row, and he just looked straight at my table, and he said, I want you to accept this idea. You can fall in love with this idea. You can absolutely create your own economy. I almost jumped out of my seat. I literally fell in love. I said, oh, that would be great. Now, did I believe it? Well, he believed it, so I believed it was possible. But I want you to understand that you can absolutely create your own economy. But you're not going to do it with a weak standard. We got to set the standard. We want to bring our income up to the standard of living of how we want to live. Start playing with this idea. It's going to go deeper and deeper inside of you, but you can absolutely create your own economy. Now, to create your own economy, to set the standard, to really build yourself and live the way you want to live, you've got to bet on yourself. No one is going to bet on you like you will. Bet on yourself from this moment on. Tell yourself, I am going to go and I'm going to do exactly what Arash is telling me. And I want you to do it to the letter, because I'm going to give you a formula that, if followed, you definitely will win. And I want you to bet on yourself because you deserve it. Don't keep waiting for somebody to tap you on the shoulder. To win in life, you have to have courage. You have to have mental toughness. And as you bet on yourself, guess what you're going to do? You're going to fall in love with the future. You're going to fall in love with not just a future, the best future that you're going to design. I want you to get in love with that word design. Design your wealth. Design your health. Design your future. Design your happiness. It doesn't happen to you. You have to go in and start thinking. We have to really think. We think based on, how do I want to live? We think not based on appearances. That's not thinking, that's reacting. If you're letting the outside control you, you're not going to create by design. I want you to really fall in love with your future. Now, transforming your ability to create the most amazing future starts right now. What did we say? We have to make an irrevocable, committed decision that it's either going to be one day or day one, you decide. And here's the truth. You're going to spend the time anyway. You might as well be great. Right now is your opportunity to seize that moment. Now let's look at this. Goals are your vision of the future. What vision do you have right now? Do you have a vision that you're in love with? And I want you to ask yourself that. Fall in love with your future. Design your life masterpiece. Make it your own Mozart. Make it that you have your canvas and you can write out exactly how you want to live. And then when you write it out, you start walking into that commitment. Commitments are easy to make, they're hard to live through. But when you have a big why, and we're going to get into that in the goal achievement process, but when you have a big why, what's going to happen, your why is always going to be greater than the adversity. Your why is going to be greater than your why not. And I want you to fall in love with it. I don't want you to tiptoe towards your future. Most people have fears of the future. They're saying, oh, what if this happens or what if that happens? Will this really work? Don't go in. You've got to come in with a full heart and you want to sprint towards your future. You are creating your future in the present.